Yes, welcome. Today we are going to be doing commerce. We want to know the definition of commerce. What do you understand by the term commerce?
Either buying of goods and by distribution of support production, like the producer, the wholesaler, and
Thank you, that's commerce. You understand? Commerce in simple terms simply means buying, selling and distribution of goods and services. Goods and what? Services. It's not only certain goods. You understand? In simple terms, commerce simply means buying, selling and what? Distribution of goods and services. It's not only buying and selling but also what? Distribution. It also includes all those activities that facilitate trade. You know that there are some activities that you need for trade. If you're into business, you need to go to bank, is it not? To save the money that you've sold. You understand? The money you make from selling, you need to go to bank and put it, is it not? Then for you to get your commodity or your goods from the producer to where you're selling it, you need transportation, isn't it? You need transportation. So it's also part of commerce. Banking is also part of commerce. If you have workers, you need to do what we call insurance. You know what insurance is? You're protecting them from death, or it could be life insurance, or you understand. So all those things are components of commerce. All those things are what? Components of commerce. Both banking, insurance, tourism. Do you know what they call tourism? Advert. Do you know what is advert? If you're selling something, you need to advertise it so that people will know. You understand? So that is also part of what? Commerce. You understand? So in complete form, you say that commerce is all about the activities involved in the what? Distribution and exchange of goods and services. Is that clear? In other words, commerce is a branch of what? Production. You know that we say that production involves all the economics in producing something and distributing it. So that distribution aspect of production is what? Commerce. Exactly. So in other words, it is a branch of production concerned with the what? Distribution. Very important. You see this word? It's very important. Distribution, exchange of what? Goods and services. And all the activities that do what? Facilitate trade. And I give you an example of activities that facilitate trade. It is what? Banking, tourism, insurance, advertising, transportation, communication. You need to be making calls when you're selling. You understand? You need to call your customers.
What is the meaning of tourism?
Tourism simply means when you go out for sightseeing to enjoy yourself. You understand? So people are on medical tourism, they are on sightseeing. You see people come from other countries. They want to come to our Nigeria, go to places like Niagara Falls to look around. Tourism, you understand? You go to beautiful places to look around, see what is happening there. You understand? You pay. You spend money transporting yourself to that place. Is that clear? So these are activities that do what? Facilitate what? Trade. Is that clear? So in simple terms, you say that commerce is the process of what? Buying, selling and distribution of what? Goods and services. Is that clear? Is that clear? That is what commerce is. That is what commerce is, and you need to know. So secondly, we are going to look at the scope of commerce. So now we look at scope of commerce. Scope. You understand what we mean by scope? The boundaries of commerce. You understand? Scope simply means boundaries. What and what are involved in commerce? What activities do you classify as part of what? Commerce. The two major categories of scope in commerce is trade and what? Is to trade. Is what? Trade and aid to trade. And commerce can broadly be classified under what? Trade and what? Aid to trade. You know what trade is? What is trade? Buying and selling. Understand? Some people normally define buying and selling as commerce, but commerce is more than buying and selling. Is that clear? Trade is buying and selling, but commerce involves both buying and selling and aids to trade. You understand? So when you talk about trade, you're talking about buying and selling trade. You understand? Then when you talk about aids to trade, you're talking about transportation, warehousing, banking, insurance, advertising, communications, and what? Tourism. You see the difference? Aids to trade are those things that help you in trading. Is that clear? If you want to trade very well, you need to transport what you're trading from places where they are not needed to the place they are needed. Is it not? If you're doing trading, you need to have a warehouse so that to store those things. Is it not? If you're doing trading, you need to be banking your money to keep it safe. Is it not? If you're doing trading, you need to do insurance for some of your workers or all of your workers. Is it not? And insure your properties. It's not only the workers.
Is it compulsory?
It's not compulsory in Nigeria. You understand? But in some countries they make it compulsory for some kind of works. You see, but if you need to do a very good trading, you need to do adverts. Is it not? You see Coca-Cola advertising on the telly and doing all sort of that. If you need to do a good trade, you need to do what? Communication. You need to call your customers, call your workers. Is it not? If you are doing a very good trade, you need to have some element of tourism. Tourism encourages trade. When people come for tourism in Nigeria, you see them buy our asobi and our local men, beats and all those things. You see that? So you see that all these are classified as what? Aid to trade, because the aid means help. Is it not? Help to trade. Those things that help trade. Is that clear? Whereas trade is the actual buying and selling. Can you see the scope of commerce? So tell me the scope of what's the scope of commerce? What and what is involved in commerce? Two things that are involved in commerce.
Trade and aid to trade.
Trade and what? Aid to trade. So what are the components of aid to trade? Transportation.
Communication.
Yes.
Tourism.
Yes.
Advertising.
Yes. And insurance. Yes. So those are aids to trade. You understand? So commerce simply involves this and what? All this. Is that clear? Commerce involves trading, which is buying and selling, and the things that help trading, which includes transportation, warehousing, banking, insurance, advertising, communication, and what? Tourism. Is that clear? Yes, today we are going to be learning about functions of commerce. Functions of commerce. We are going to be learning about what? Functions of commerce. Functions of commerce. What are those things that commerce do? Like if a nation like Nigeria is practicing commerce, or if Abuja is practicing commerce, what would be the benefits of commerce to Abuja? Or if you're into commerce, you're into trading, what are the benefits? Can you give me an example?
It can provide job opportunity.
Job opportunity, yes.
Production of goods. Production of
Goods, you can use it to produce goods. Because of it, there will be mass production of goods, is it not? Because when you see that you can sell a lot, you can do trading. You know, trading is a very important aspect of commerce. We say that the two important aspects of commerce are what? Trading and what? Aid to trade. So if you see that you can sell goods, it will encourage you to do what? Produce more, is it not? What other function? So, and that is what is explained in this one. Mass production of what? Goods and what? Services. Commerce encourages mass production of what? Goods and services. Do you know what mass production means? Production in what? Large quantities. You understand? When you see that you can sell, like Nigeria sees that they can sell oil to the Western world, is it not? So there is mass production of what? Oil, so that we can get money. Now, raising of capital, you can use commerce to raise capital, is it not? What is the major commodity that Nigeria trade or use in commerce to get money for the country? Fuel, oil. You understand? Crude oil. You understand? So we use crude oil to raise capital, and that's the capital that the country, that's where they are getting bulk of the money that they are using in paying salary. Number 3, employment opportunities. You understand? If you're into buying and selling, you're employed. You can get a living from there. You can get money to train your kids and solve your problems. Is it not? Now you talk about transport. Commerce encourages for transport. Why? Because you have to transport those goods and services, is it not? So by so doing, you have to build good roads, is it not? Buy good cars. So you have to develop your transport system to enable commerce. Now, warehousing functions. Commerce does a lot of warehousing functions because you need warehouses to do what? To store your goods before you sell them, is it not? So it encourages warehousing. It does a lot of warehousing functions. Improvement is the what? Standard of living. If you're into trade and commerce, you make money, is it not? And when you make money, your standard of living is what? Your standard of living is what? Improved. When you make money, you can buy good cars, you can take good care of yourself, is it not? You go to hospital when needed. Now what? Risk bearing. Once you're involved in commerce, you have to bear some risk, is it not? Business involves risk a lot, is it not? So your ability to stay in commerce teaches you how to bear risk. Exchange of goods and services. Commerce encourages exchange of goods and services, and that is called trading, is it not? Trading. Then commerce helps in creation of what? Public awareness. Public what? Awareness. If Nigeria is using eating poultry a lot, whenever there is bird flu, you know what they call bird flu? You know that disease that they call bird flu that affects chicken, kills them. You understand? That will affect human beings too. There will be awareness. People will tell you, don't eat chicken, don't eat beans now, this is killing people, stuff like that. You understand? So there is always easy to pass information. And when there is a new product on ground, you see those people that are involved in commerce telling you this is the best way to cure HIV, this is the best car to drive. You understand? There is public awareness because during advertisement they pass a lot of information. Is that not so? So another thing is what? Linkage of what? Buyers to the sellers. If there is spread, you always, if you're buying something, you understand, you go and meet the person that sells it. Is it not? That's how buying and selling takes place. Creation of what? Wealth for the nation. What is the major thing that is creating wealth for Nigeria?
Politics. Politics.
What creates wealth for this nation?
It's fuel.
Good. Crude oil, the sale of crude oil, is it not? The commercial activities that involves crude oil, that's what brings more money to Nigeria. Is that clear? In some countries, they sell technology. You understand? So, what you sell does a lot in creating wealth for your nation. And that's why Nigeria is trying to diversify into agriculture. I hope you know. The current government wants to diversify into agriculture so that we can be selling both crude oil and what? Agricultural products like rice, beans, yam, cocoa, and all the rest of them. Exactly. Good. Occupation. Occupation. Can you tell me what occupation is?
It's what one does to earn a living.
What one does, what one do to earn a living. That's occupation. You understand? Anything that you do to earn a living is your occupation, is it not? Anything you do to earn a living. That's a simple way of defining it. But now we can define it as what? Any economic or productive activities which people engage in to create and produce goods and services in order to make a what? Living. You say that occupation is something that somebody does in order to earn a living, is it not? But now we see that that thing you are doing to earn a living, it has to be an economic what? Or productive activity that involves the creation of what? Goods and services. When you're going to thief and you're an armed robber and that gives you food, is that an occupation?
Yes.
Armed robber, is it an occupation? No, it's not an occupation.
So it's earning a living now.
You're earning a living, but it's not an occupation. You understand? Yeah, an occupation has to be any economic or productive. It has to be a productive activity in which people engage in to create and produce what? Goods and services. You must be creating or producing goods and service. Is that clear? So when you're making a living by creating or producing goods and or services, that's when you are having what? Occupation. Not when you're killing people and you're robbing people and you're giving people hypertension. That's not an occupation. You see the difference? So occupation is an economic or productive activity which people engage in to create and produce what? Goods and services. In order to do what? Make a living. So that's the essence of an occupation, to make a what? Living, to get money so that when you need anything, you can satisfy your want, to make ends meet. Is that clear? So that's the essence of what? Occupation. Now we look at classification of what? Occupation. Classification of occupation. Classification of occupation. So what are the classes of occupation that we have? Number one, we have what we call industry. Number two, we have what we call commerce. And number three, we have what we call what? Services. These are the three classes of occupation. These are the what? Three classes of occupation. So once you're earning a living, it's either that you're in the industry aspect. You know what the industry aspect is? Good. Those that are involved in transforming raw material into, you understand? So if you're transforming raw material, basic raw material, then you're in this group. Is that clear? Example are the those people that are into timber in the forest. Is that clear? Those people that are fishing. You understand? People that are in timber business, people that are what? Fishing, people that are what? Mining. You understand? All these occupations are classified under industry what? Occupation. Have you written it? Production of crude oil, all those things, they are under what? Industry. These people are into production. Is that clear? Then commerce are what? The traders, is it not? Those people that are involved in what? Trading. You understand? That is commerce and other aspects. Then services. Where are those people rendering services, like the lawyers, the doctors? You understand? Those people are in the service type of occupation. Those people are in the what? Service type of occupation. So those are the classes of occupation that we have. Is that clear? Those are the classes of occupation that we have. Yes, so we're going to be looking at factors determining types of occupation. What will make you to want to be a doctor? What will make you to want to be a lawyer instead of being a doctor? What will make you to want to be doing farming? Or what will compel you to be doing farming instead of going to the city and being a driver? You understand? There are different things that will make you to do what you are doing. You find out that people in the riverine areas, most of them are what? Fishers, is it not? People in the riverine area, because of the river there. You understand? People in the north, when they have massive land, most of them are farmers, is it not? Can you say that? So there are things that determine the kind of occupation that people do. So number one is what? Climate and weather difference. Number one is what? Climate and weather difference. If you're farming in this part of the world, you've seen in the east they are farming on palm kernel, is it not? Palm oil. That's what they are getting there in south. But can you see palm oil in the north? Because of the weather there, it does not encourage it. You understand? So the climate and the weather does affect the kind of thing people are doing. So if you're a farmer, you'll be in that area. Is that clear? But there are some areas that doesn't even encourage farming. You understand? So your climate and your weather determine the kind of occupation that you can be doing. Is that, you understand? Good. Number two is what? Natural resources. If you have crude oil, you see that in Nigeria people will go into oil production, is it not? What are places like Singapore where they don't have crude oil? They're into technology. You see our occupation different from their own. We are into mining of crude. You understand? whether they're into another aspect of occupation. Now, education and skill. If you have education, that's the only way you can do jobs like to be a lawyer or doctor, is it not? If you don't have education, can you be a lawyer or doctor? So you look for other occupations like farming, is it not? So your education and your skill dictate what you become as a form of occupation. Salary and wages. Now, if you want to choose whether you want to be a business this thing or a sociologist, somebody say go and study sociology, you'll be like, if I finish studying sociology, will I be getting money? What kind of work will sociology people be doing? Let me go and do business administration so that I'll be doing business and be getting money. You understand? Somebody will say, hey, let me study medicine because all of the doctors that I'm seeing, they are living well. Exactly. So the salary and the wage determines the kind of occupation that you choose sometimes. Exactly. Now we talk about industrial hazard. If you see those jobs that involves you staying inside the river, you know that those people that are mining oil, most time they stay in the river. What if something happens and they fall in? Some people will say, no, I don't want to do such jobs, I don't want to die. So the hazard, the industrial hazard involved in the job can make you not to want to choose such occupation. Is that clear? Then policy. Like in Nigeria, the government is trying to encourage agriculture now. It's saying every month you must go and do agriculture. So that one might be the reason why some people are going to agriculture. Is that clear? But if the federal government is not pushing policies that encourages agriculture, people will find other jobs. So federal government or government policy affects the type of occupation that people do. Then we have other factors like interest, inclination, and what ability. Some people want to be here, they just want to be writing. You see somebody will tell you, I want to be a writer. That's what he wants. No matter how much you're getting from being a doctor, he doesn't care. I just want to be a musician. I derive joy in singing. You understand? So that is for some people. So factors, other factors like interest, inclination. You know how to sing, so you want to do singing as an occupation. You want it to be your career. You want to take a career in music. Is that clear? The ability, that's what you can do. Can you say that? So all these factors what determine the type of what occupation that you choose. So tell me which of these factors is determining your desire to do business administration?
Salary and wages.
Salary and wages, you see. You want to be able to get enough money to take care of your family and yourself, is it not? So that is what is making you to want to do what? Business administration. That's clever. Yes. Now we are going to look at the classification of what? Occupation. Classification of what? Occupation. Classification of occupation. What are the classes of occupation that we have? We have number one, industry. We have two, commerce, and we have what? Services. Anything you're doing to make a living in this world, that is the occupation. It's either an industry type, commerce type, or what? Service type. You understand? I told you that industry is when you're involved in what? Mining. You're involved in what? Fishing. You understand? All the extractive works are under industry. Whereas when you're talking about commerce, you're into trade and what? Trade and aid to trade. Trade and what? Aid to trade. What are aid to trade? Advertising, insurance, and so and so. Is it not? So if you're into insurance or advertising, you're under commerce aspect of occupation. Is that clear? Then services is people like what? Lawyer, what? Doctor. Those people that are rendering services. You understand? So we're going to take these classifications one after the other. You understand? So first of all, let's look at what? Industry. Let's look at industry. What are the classes of commerce under industry? We say that industry are activities geared towards what? Production of what? Goods and services through extraction, manufacturing, and what? Construction. Once your occupation is under what? Extraction, manufacturing, and construction, then you are into what? Industry type. Is that clear? So the examples of here, we have extraction, manufacturing, and what? Construction. Is that clear? Extraction, manufacturing, and what? construction. So these are the what examples of the occupation that I got. So what kind of human beings are said to be in industry? Which people? Give me an example of people that are into industry.
Pyramid blocks.
Like the farmers, is it not?
Yeah.
Which other people? Fishermen. Welders. Which other people? Manufacturers. Carpenters. Which other people? Plumbers. Which other people? Miners. All these are under what? Industrial what? Occupation. Industrial what? Occupation. There are 3 types of occupation: industrial occupation, commercial occupation, and what? Service occupation. Is that clear? Is that clear? So now, having learned about industrial occupation, like I told you that they can either be what? Extractive, or what? Which other one? Manufacturing, or what? Constructive, or constructional. Constructive. So give me an example of people that are under extractive. The farmers, the fishers, they are extracting the raw materials, you know. The miners, forestry, lumbering, the people that are hunting and quarrying. Extractive means extracting something from something. You understand? If you carry something like limestone, you can extract some other things. You understand? If you go and get some rock, you can extract cement from that rock, limestone. You understand? That is extraction. It can also be called mining in some ways. Then other manufacturing, you have what we call things like plastic production, rubber processing, textile. Under this one, we have what? Textile. People that are producing what? Plastic. All those people are under manufacturing. People that are into what? Food processing. Is that clear? If you're processing food, those people that are making chivita, yogurt, they are under manufacturing. Then constructive are those people that are involved in building. Is it not?
Yes.
Building. Example are the welders, carpenters. Is it not? Goldsmiths. People that are in the what? Furniture. Is it not? Road construction. But all of them are under what? Constructive. Now let's look at another type of occupation. We've looked at industrial occupation, is it not? And we say that industrial occupation are those occupations that are involved in what? Extraction, construction, and what? Manufacturing. Extraction, construction, and what? Manufacturing. Then what of the people that are into the commercial occupation or commerce occupation? What kind of occupation is that? That are those people that are involved in what? Distribution of what? Goods and services. Distribution of what? Goods and services. That is trade and aid to trade, is it not? People that are into trade and what? Aids to what? Trade. What is trade? Trade means what? Buying and selling of what? Goods and services, is it not? Exchange of what? Goods and services, is it not? What of aid to trade? Bankers, which other people? Transporters. They are all traders, traders are here too. They are what? Advertisers, people that advertise, is it not? Then what again? Importers, exporters, postmasters, is it not? So all these people are under commercial occupation. Is that clear? So therefore we ask you, which of the following is not under commercial occupation? They will put transporters, traders, insurers, advertisers, importers, and they will put miners. Which one will be theirs? Miners, because miners are under industrial occupation. They are not under commercial occupation. Is that clear? Is that clear? So types of commercial occupation are what? Banking, transporting, advertising, importing, exporting, and trading. They are all commercial occupation. Is that clear? Now we look at the final class of occupation known as service occupation. Known as what? Service occupation. Which people are doing this service occupation? Can you give me an example of people that are into service occupation?
Doctors.
Doctors. Service occupation are classified as tertiary what? Occupation. Tertiary what? Occupation. These are occupations that render services to people. Is that clear? They do what? They render services to people. They are not into exchange of goods. You understand? Services involve something for doing something for consumer, which could be personal or indirect services. So these services could be what? It could be what? Direct service or what? Indirect what? Service. Is that clear? Those are the kind of services you can render. Now, direct services include things like barbers. Can you see that barbers are into service occupation? Entertainers. Do you know people that are entertainers? People that dance and all those things. But stewards. Is that clear? Your family doctor is also rendering a direct service to you. Is that clear? Your housemaid. So housemaid is also an occupation. You understand? But it's under what? Services. Then we also have what? Private what? Lawyers. Is it not? So these are all direct services. Then we have indirect services. These direct services, they are doing this directly to you. But you have other services that maybe the government is doing that you don't know about, that are not directly to you. Like the what? Police force. Those people that are working in the police, they are maintaining peace and order in the land, is it not? Without them, there will be trouble. People will be doing anyhow. Is that clear? Police, then you have the soldiers. But what kind of service are the soldiers rendering? They protect the country from adversary, so that people and all those people will not come and kill you. Then we have custom officers. Custom what? Officers. What kind of services are custom officers doing? They stay around the border, you understand, and monitor, or they stay and monitor the kind of goods that people are smuggling into the country. Then we have civil servants. Do you know people that they call civil servants? People that work in ministries. You understand? Then we have lawmakers. Do you know the people that are lawmakers? Which people? National Assembly. The people in the National Assembly, they are the lawmakers. You understand? So those people, they are also performing indirect what? Services. So that is their occupation. Services. So with this, you can be able to tell me each person I call his work. You can tell me the kind of occupation he's doing. Is it not? A barber, what kind of occupation is a barber doing? Is this industry, commerce or service?
Service.
Good. A lawyer, is it industry, commerce or service?
Service.
A banker, is it industry, commerce or service? Commerce. A miner or a plumber or a fisher, is it industry, commerce or service? Thank you. So with that, you are very good in this course. So with that, yes, today we are going to be learning production. When you create goods, like when you are making watches, you say that we are producing watches, is it not? When you're making clothes, you can say that we are producing clothes, isn't it? When we are making eyeglasses like this one, you say we are producing eyeglasses. So production simply means the creation of goods and services. Is that clear? Creation of goods. Is that clear? So we say that production is the creation of utility. Utility simply means something that you derive satisfaction from. Is that clear? Utility simply means derivation of satisfaction from goods and services. You can also say that production is the creation of goods and services which satisfy human wants. Which do what? Satisfy human wants. Those production, when you produce watch, is it not because human being wants to have watch in order to keep time and be fashionable? Those are the two needs for watch, isn't it? Keeping of time and what? Being what? Fashionable. You wear watch because you want to look fine. Hey, I like this Rolex watch, it's shining. At the same time, you want to use it to know the time, isn't it? So those are the two purposes. So that the two human wants that it is satisfying. So you produce in order to satisfy human wants, isn't it? So all goods and services produced must possess utility. It must have a particular satisfaction that is given to human want. That is utility. Is that clear? Now, which means that they must be capable of satisfying human wants. That is the meaning of utility. Is that clear? Being able to do what? Satisfy human wants. Anything you produce must be satisfying human wants. Let's say you're producing cars. Does car have utility? Does it satisfy human wants? What kind of wants does it satisfy?
To reduce stress.
Reduce stress of traveling, isn't it? And what? It's faster. You understand? Ensure speed in traveling. Those are the two utilities that you can drive around driving a car. The production of bread. What utility does it have? Bread. For eating, you need to eat and have energy, isn't it? So everything that you produce must have what? Utility. It must have what? Utility. It must satisfy human wants. So you say that production is the creation of goods and services which satisfy human wants. Is that clear? Now we look at factors of production. We look at what? Factors of production. Factors of production. What are the factors of production? What are those agents, components that you need for you to produce? Factors of production, these are agents, components, or resources. Is that clear? Which are combined together to do what? Produce goods and services. So that is what factors of production are. The factors of production are those things that you need to combine in order for you to produce goods. Those things that you need for you to produce goods. Is that clear? So these factors are 4 in number. Do you know them? Number 1 is what we call land. Number 2 is what we call labor. Number 3 is what we call capital. And number 4 is what we call entrepreneur. Is that clear? For you to produce sandal or shoe or watch, you need these 4 factors. You must have them. Number 1 is land. If you want to produce car, don't you need land? You need land now to build a factory, is it not? That is land. Labor is the people that work there. Is that clear? Here you talk about the land where you build the factory on. You understand? And some major things that you need there, river or all those things. They are classified on that land. Labor is the what? Human what? Human beings, the people that work in that land for you to produce. Let's say you want to produce soap. First of all, you need the land where you build the factory for the soap, is it not? You need the human being that will work there, is it not? Then you need what we call capital. Capital is what? The money. But the money you use in paying those human beings, the money you use in buying some things, isn't it? Then entrepreneur. What is entrepreneur? Entrepreneur is the management. You understand? That management that will be managing this human being, the money and the land, in order for you to produce the soap, in order to make profits. It's also human beings. You understand? So these are the factors of production. These are the agents of production. Those are the 4 things you need. You understand? Now, let's take these factors of production one by one. Let's take the factors of production one by one. Number one is the what? Land. What is land? Land is simply the free gift of nature. Is that clear? Land is the free gift of nature. That's what land is, the free gift of nature. It does not only include land surfaces of the earth, but also the free gifts of nature and natural resources like things that are included under land. Things that are included under the free gift of nature are forest. Forest is also regarded as land. Is that clear? Then what else? Minerals resources like crude oil. Nigeria mineral resources is also, like crude oil is also land. Is that clear? You have rivers. You need rivers to do many things. You also have what? Oceans. And we have also the what? Atmosphere. Atmosphere is also land. Is that clear? So in economics, when you say land, land does not mean only the surface that you're matching on. You understand? It includes forest, mineral resources, rivers, oceans, and what? Atmosphere. Is that clear? Is that clear? Unlike other factors of production, the supply of land is unlimited. You have to know that the supply of land is unlimited. Is that clear? You can always have land. The reward for land is rent. The reward for land is rent. Did you see the way I wrote it in capital letter? JAMB is going to ask you, what is the reward for land? The reward for land is what? Rent. The reward for labor is what? Wages and what? Salary. The reward for capital is what? Interest. The reward for entrepreneur is profit. Is that clear? So every factor of production has what? Reward. So we have the factors and the what? Rewards. It's going to ask you. JAMB will ask you that. So you can write it. So write all of them. Have you written that? Factors and the rewards. Good. So note all the rewards. All the factors of production have reward. Now we're going to look at the characteristics of land. What are the characteristics of land? How do you know land when you see it? Whenever you see land, how do you know that this is land? Or whenever you see a factor of production, how can you classify that factor of production as land? When you see a factor of production, how can you classify that very factor of production as land? How? Is when you see some of these characteristics. Number one is that land is immobile. Land is immobile. What do you mean by land is immobile? It cannot be moved from one place to the other. Number two is that land is a free gift. Land is a what? Free gift. It's a free gift of nature. Number three is that the supply of land is fixed. Its supply is fixed. You cannot say that Nigeria has 10 kilometers of land. All of a sudden, next year you say that Nigeria has 20 kilometers. No. Our land is constant. The magnitude is constant. Land is subject to diminishing returns. Number three, it is subject to what? diminishing returns. It is the characteristic, the reward is rent. You understand? In every land you collect rent. Land has no cost of production. It has no what? Cost of production. You don't need cost to produce it. Land is heterogeneous. Land is what? Do you know what you mean by heterogeneous? It varies. It's not the same. You understand? The kind of land you have here, you have different kind of lands, the forest and different things. Importance of land. Importance of what? Land. Importance of land. Importance of land. What and what can you use lands for? Number one, you can use it for what? Farming purposes. You can use lands for farm, to fish, isn't it? You can use it for livestock purposes. For what? What is livestock purposes? Cattle and all those things. You can use land for what? Fishery purposes. Is that not true? What is fishery purposes? Fishing. You can use land for wildlife purposes. What else can you use land for?
As collateral storage.
You can use land as a what? Collateral security. When you want to go and borrow money in bank and you have land, you can use it as collateral, isn't it? You can use land for construction purposes, to construct. You can use land for construction purposes. Number 7, what else? You can use it for social or what? Recreational purposes. Can you tell me what recreational purposes is? Recreational means where you go and relax, like amusement, like a Wonderland. Have you been to Wonderland? Wonderland, that's a recreational place for recreational purposes. What else can you use it? You can use land for what? Residential buildings. You can use it to build. So these are some of the things you can use land for, to build houses. But these are not the only uses of land. What other uses of land? Source of minerals. You can use land as what? Source of what? Minerals. The crude oil that we have in Nigeria is got from the land. Then we can also use land for what? Transportation what? Purposes. How can you use land for transportational purposes?
We transport our land from one place to another. We transport our land.
Yeah, when we want to move from one place to the other, we use land, isn't it? Now we're going to move to another factor of production known as what? Labor. Right along, labor. This is defined as all forms of human effort. Labor are all forms of human effort put into or utilized in production. So that your effort you're putting in production is simply called labor. It also refers to man's mental and physical exertion in the process of production. It is the man's mental, your brain, mental and what? Physical exertions towards production. You understand? All your mental, your ability to solve the mathematics and get things done. The reward for labor is wages and salary. The reward for labor is wages and salary. That's what I said. Wages and salaries are the rewards for labor. When you work, you get rewarded, isn't it? If you work and people are not paying you salary, will you be happy? You will not be happy. So you must get your wages and salaries. That is the only thing that will make you to be happy. So all forms of human effort, any effort that you put towards production, that is what labor is. Is that clear? Is it clear? Did you understand what labor is very well? Your effort, the effort me and you are putting into production. Types of labor. There are two types of labor that we have. We have number one, known as unskilled labor, and we have number two, known as what? Skilled labor. Who can give me the different types, these two types of labor? Can you differentiate it?
Unskilled labor are people like people that move cement.
Good. People that are molding cement and block, unskilled.
Unskilled labor are lawyers.
Lawyers, people that went to school to get their skills, is it not?
Yes.
This is uneducated.
Yes.
But
Yes.
or informal, whereas these ones are what? Educated. So here you have people like barbers, bricklayers, isn't it? Whereas here you have people like lawyers, doctors, isn't it? So if you have your skill or you're given level from what you've done to formal education to acquire, then you're doing what we call skilled level. Whereas those that are doing without formal education, we'll talk about unskilled level. Characteristics or features of level. How do you know level when you see it? Characteristics or features of level. How do you know labor when you see it? Number one, labor is mobile. What do you mean by labor is mobile?
Labor, they can carry it, like someone can go from one place to another.
To work, isn't it? But we say that land is not is immobile. Can you carry your land in the village and say, hey, I want to come and start farming in Abuja. Let me go to the village and carry my land and come here. Is it possible? But you can go and carry your brother that knows how to farm and come. You understand? So labor, work, human beings are mobile. Labor has feelings. Labor has what? Feelings. How can you describe that labor has feelings? Human beings. Labor is all about human beings, is it not? So they have feels. You cannot work somebody until he dies. Labor is skillful. Labor is what? Skillful. So you can actually develop the skills of your labor. Labor is a human factor. Labor is a human factor. That's another feature. It has to do with human beings. Labor requires motivation. Labor does what? Requires motivation. What is motivation? Somebody that is working for you, you need to bet the person. Is that clear? You need to provide some certain things, maybe transportation. You need to talk to the person, or you need to train him so that he will do better work. You understand? You understand? Those things are called motivation. Labor is not predictable. Labor is not predictable. Labor is not fixed. Just like land, land is fixed, but labor is not fixed. Can move. Labor is perishable. Labor is perishable. If you don't take care of your labor, labor has initiative. Labor has initiative. Labor has initiative. And finally, labor controls other factors of production. Finally, labor does what? it controls other factors. Is it not labor that will go and locate that this is the right land to build? Is it not? So labor controls other factors of production. Then we look at, after looking at the characteristics, we look at importance of labor. We look at what? Importance of labor. What are the importance of labor? Number one, labor provides personnel. Provision of what? Personnel is the labor that provides the human beings that work, is it not? It influences other factors of production. Labor controls and influences other factors of production. That's what it does. Labor controls and influences other factors of production. Production of goods and services. It is labor that do what? Do the actual production of goods and services. If you have your land and your materials, without labor there will be no production. Operation of machines. It is labor that do what? Operate the machines that you have. Is that clear? It's the labor that operates the machine. Now we look at the third factor of production. And the third factor of production is what? Capital. What is capital? What is capital? Capital is the third factor of production, and is defined as the man-made assets. Capital is the man-made assets used in production. So capital is not just money, but all the assets. Capital is not just money, but all the man-made assets that are used in production. In other words, capital refers to man-made wealth. It is the man-made wealth and goods. So wealth now includes money and goods used to produce other goods and services. So you see that capital could also be said to be goods and wealth and money that you use in producing other goods and services. It may also be defined as the stock of previous wealth invested in order to produce future wealth. Example of capital include physical cash. Examples of capital includes what? Number one, physical cash. What is physical cash? Money, is it not? Physical cash, which is money. But money is not the only capital that we have. We have money. We have cutlass. Things like cutlass. The cutlass you use in farming, the hoe, all of them are capital. Then we have what we call the machine. All those machines that you use in soap production, they are your capitals. Also the buildings. The building is not the land, it is the capital. Buildings, the building for your factory. Then the motor vehicle. The motor you drive to work is your capital. Raw material, semi-finished goods. Also we have raw material is also part of your capital. Not mineral resources, but other raw material you use in working. They are your capital. Semi-finished goods is also capital. Semi-finished goods is also a capital. Semi-finished goods. Then we'll talk about tools and other equipment. All the tools you use in work, tools. All the other equipment you use in working, all of them are classified under capital. So all of these things that you use in the what? Production of goods and services, they are known as what? Capital. And the reward for capital is interest. The reward for capital is what? Interest. Very, very important. The reward for capital is interest. Now we look at the characteristics of capital. How do you recognize capital when you see one? Number one, capital is man-made. It's always man-made. It's not like the free gift of nature. We say that land is the free gift of nature, isn't it? Land is what God gave us, like the forest, the rivers, all of them are classified under land. But anything that you see that man made it, like the building, where you build your factory, is it not? All are known as capital. Capital is durable. Capital is durable. What do we mean when we say that something is durable? It will last for long without spoiling, isn't it? That's the meaning of durability. Capital exists in different forms. Capital exists in different forms. Just like say it can exist in terms of money, physical money. It can be in terms of equipment that you're using to work. Capital is subject to depreciation. Capital is subject to what? Depreciation. Do you know what depreciation is? What is it? Reduction of in quality of something. You understand? You buy these clothes today, small time it will start depreciating. You understand? Capital, all this thing, like this thing I'm working is my capital. It's part of my capital. You understand? The way that this thing works today, is it the way it's going to work next week? The quality will reduce. It ensures large scale production. Capital ensures large scale what? Production. Your capital, when you have good ones, you can use it in producing in large scale. It also promotes division of labor. Number 6, it promotes division of labor. Is that clear? Capital promotes division of labor.
When is it closing?
Types of capital. What are the types of capital that we have? Number 1 is that we have what we call fixed capital. Number 2, we have what we call circulatory or working capital. Number 3 is what we call current or liquid capital, and number 4 is what we call social capital. Is that clear? These are the types of capital that we have. Is that clear? The fixed capital, are you looking? Go back to this one. The fixed capital are the assets, fixed assets that you have, like building where you are working, and big machines. You understand? Those are the fixed capital. Exactly. You have the circulatory capital. You understand? Other things that you use in working. The liquid capital is the money. Is that clear? The money that you use in paying your staff and doing all those things. You understand? To buy small things. Social capital, things like road, electricity that you need. Is that clear? Right there. Building. Exactly. So those are the types of capital that we have. Now we look at the importance of capital. Importance of capital. What are the importance of capital? Number one, you use capital to do what? Start what? Business. Is it not? You need capital to start business. Number two, you need capital to acquire assets. You need capital to acquire assets. Number three, you need capital to pay salaries and wages. You need capital to do what? Pay salaries and wages. Number four, you need capital to buy raw materials. You need capital to do what? Buy raw materials. And number five, you need capital to use as working capital, the one you use in buying and transporting yourself, basic things. And finally, number six, we use capital to be used as a what? Collateral. You can use capital as a collateral to obtain loans and credits. So these are the importance of capital. These are the importance of capital. You can use capital to start business, to acquire assets, to pay salaries, wages and salary. Is it not? Use it to pay your workers' wages and salary. Use it to buy raw material. If you need ink to make this, you need ink and plastic to make this. Use your capital to buy the raw material. Use as a working capital to buy little things, transport yourself each day. Then you can use it as a collateral to obtain loans and what? Credit. Is that clear? Now we enter the last factor of production, which is what we are going to stop for today. The last factor of production, and it's known as what? Entrepreneur. That's the last factor of production. Entrepreneur. So what is an entrepreneur? It is the factor of production that coordinates, that very factor of production that coordinates and organizes other factors of production, which are land, labor, and capital. It is actually the entrepreneur that coordinates land, labor, and capital in order to produce goods and services. In order to produce goods and services. So you see, if you have land, you have labor, you have capital, but you don't have people that can manage it, people that can tell every worker, this is what I need you to do, type this, today, do this. Will you make profit? So you need those people that will manage. The entrepreneur bears the risk and takes measured decision of the business. He risks his capital in setting up the business with the aim of obtaining maximum profit. The entrepreneur is the person who coordinates, controls, and organizes the process of production in order to make maximum output at minimum cost, thereby making profit. The reward for entrepreneur is profit. The reward for entrepreneur is what? What is the reward? Profit. So it's the person that risks all the thing. You understand? The entrepreneur, when you come to an organization, the entrepreneur is the person that owns the business. You know Facebook? Facebook is known by an entrepreneur known as Mark Zuckerberg. And he has workers who are the labor that work for him. In order to make profit, he has capital. He has his buildings and he has the computers and stuffs in the building where he works. And he has land where the building is situated. So it's the person that coordinates, tells everybody this is how I want my company to be in order for me to make money. He bears the whole risk. If you want to buy a new corporation, he does it with his money, knowing that if the corporation does not yield profit, he will bear the loss. So he bears all the risk. The entrepreneur bears all the risk in setting up a business. He's the person that brings out his money to set up the business. He's the person that takes the final decision on what happens in the company. The entrepreneur. Very, very important. So he's the person that does the risk bearing. The entrepreneur does what? He bears the risk burden. He does what? He brings out the capital to establish the business. He takes the what? He takes the final decision. So all these are done by the entrepreneur. The entrepreneur takes the final decision. The entrepreneur takes the final decision. So lastly for today, characteristics of the entrepreneur. Characteristics of the entrepreneur. So how do you know an entrepreneur when you see one? Number one, how you know the entrepreneur is the person that bears the risk. He is always the risk bearer. He is always the risk bearer. Number two, the entrepreneur is the people that does the organization of the company. Is the person that says this is the leader or the organization. The people that organizes the company on how it is. Decision making. The entrepreneur is the person that what? Takes the decision. And finally, the entrepreneur is always the person that do what? Controls other what? Factors of production. What are the other factors that the entrepreneur controls? Can you tell me the other factors?
Machines.
The other factors of production that we looked at today, what are they?
Okay, capital.
The capital, he controls the capital. Which one? The land and the what? And the labor. He controls other factors of production. Exactly. So that's where we end today.
Because concentration of carbon dioxide is more.
Yes, stop writing and pay attention. Today we are going to be looking at division of labor and specialization. What are what? Division of labor and what? Specialization. Those are the two things we are looking at. Now, what do you understand by division of labor? When you go to a tailor that is practicing division of labor in his tailoring company, you go and bring clothes that you want to sew, isn't it? When you bring the clothes you want to sew now, there is one tailor, the younger person working in the tailor shop, he will do the measurement, isn't it? Collect the measurement. Let's say that the tailor gets plenty clothes and he gets a contract to sew clothes for secondary school. You understand? One person, maybe the youngest person in the tailoring shop or the newest person, his own function is to do what? Take the measurement. After measuring, he will write out the measurement and give to the next person. You understand? That person will do what? Cutting. You know, when they bring the clothes, they have to cut it first. Cutting. Then after the cutting, the person cuts to the measurement that has already been done. He hands the clothes to the next person. Then the next person starts doing what? Sewing. Exactly. After sewing, there is another person that is specializing. You know, when you finish sewing, there is this thing they normally put in kaftan. What do they call it? The design. That design they normally put in the kaftan. There are special people that are specialized in doing it, isn't it? You give to that person. That is what we call division of labor. Unlike when you bring the clothes, one person does the measurement. After measuring, he will sew. After sewing, he will do the stitching. After doing the stitching, he will still put the design and do the final clothes and give you. Is that clear? Can you understand the difference? So the first instance is practicing what we call division of labor, whereas the other person is not practicing it. Is that clear? So whenever you divide the production line into bits, you are doing what we call division of labor. The production line of a cloth is that once you bring the clothes, you do what? You measure. After measuring, you do what? You cut. After cutting, you do what? You sew. After sewing, you then put the designs, isn't it? And then you give back to the owner. So instead of one person doing all that, that person decides to do what? Divide the production line into different units of what? Measurement, cutting, sewing, and putting the design, giving it different people. Is that clear? And that is how it is done when you go to any place where they are doing mass production. Is that clear? If you go to any place where they are doing mass production of jeans or all those things, it's not one person that finishes your trouser. Is that clear? One person does the cutting, the other person does the measurement, sewing, fixing the designs and the rest. Is that clear? So we say that the division of labor is the breaking down of a production process into a number of separate operations. What are the separate operations in the tailoring that I just said now? Measurement, cutting, sewing, and whereby each operation is undertaken or performed by one person or group of persons. Is that clear? That is what we call division of labor. Something that should have been done by one person, you separate it for different people to do what? It increases efficiency. Is that clear? When you know that your work is only to measure, will it be difficult for you? You see that you'll be measuring plenty things even within 1 hour. You just measure. Is that clear? So that's the essence of specialization, definition of labor. So when you divide labor, it will bring about specialization. It will bring about what? When you divide labor, it will bring about specialization. When I know that my work is just to measure, I will try to find out the best way to measure very easily. Is that not true? I know that my work every morning is to just measure. If I just employ you to come and teach, and somebody that has been teaching for long, who will teach better? Because he's been doing teaching every month. Is that clear? So if your only work is to cut the material for the sewing, once you get it, once you see the measurement, you cut very fast, isn't it? And that when you're doing work very well, we call it specialization. Specialization. So in common terms, we say that specialization is defined as the concentration of productive effort of an individual or firm or a country in a given aspect. Is that clear? Concentration in a given aspect. So when there is division of labor, how do you now concentrate on the aspect you're doing? So what aspect do you concentrate on? Measurement. You're either concentrating in your measurement because that is what you do every morning, or you're concentrating on cutting. Is that not clear? Or you're concentrating on sewing. So when you do when you concentrate all your efforts on a given aspect of the economic activity, or on a particular line of economic activity, or on a particular line of production, it could be any of these three, in which it has greatest advantage over others. Is that clear? So if you can cut better than every other people, the person that is your manager, the entrepreneur, will put you inside on cutting, you'll be cutting because he knows that you can cut better than the other person. Then you give the other person to do what? Measure, because he knows that the person can measure more than every other person. Then the experienced person that is good in sewing, you will give him which line? Sewing. Is that clear? Then you will keep some other person in public relation, the person that collects the clothes. When you go to MTN and all those people, or when you put a call, MTN line, you're calling customer care. You see people that will pick it, they have very good voice, is it not? They will talk to you very well. They will say, hello, please, how may we help you? Can they go and employ somebody in the village that doesn't know how to speak English to do that? You have to employ somebody that is good there. Does it mean that everybody working in MTN picks call and says hello? Does it mean that? They have other people in other special areas, is it not? There is what we call division of labor. Those people that are picking call, they are known as what? Customer care people, is it not? When you get to the bank, is everybody in the counter counting money? There is division of labor in the bank. If you lost your ATM, they will tell you to go to one place, isn't it? If you want to count money, they will tell you go to one place. If you want to count bulk money, they will tell you to enter inside. If you come, something is wrong with your account and nobody can do it, they will send you to the what? So the manager upstairs. So there is what? Division of what? Labor. Is that clear? So you do division of labor because you want people to specialize in that area they are there. Is that clear? You want them to be what? Specialized in that area. So when there is division of labor, there is what? So what is specialization? Focusing on a particular line of production. That's in simple terms. Is that clear? Because you have what? Advantage over others. That's the area you know very well. Is that not clear? People that are in public relations or customer care are always people that know how to relate to people. People that are in the counter or the tellers are the people that know how to count money very fast. Is that not? People that are in the computer room are people that know how to fix ATM in case ATM has problem, isn't it? So you have this division. Is that clear? Is that clear? Is that very clear? So copy down the notes. Yeah, before we round up, there are types of what? Specializations. The specialization could be specialization by what? Process, by sex, by what? Product, or by what? Geography or territory. Is that clear? When you divide the processes into various aspects, then you're specializing by what? Process. You can specialize and say that these female people are going to be working here because this is female job. Is that clear? Whereas this is what? Male job. Then it could be by what? Product, the kind of product, the final product that each line produces. Then it could be by what? Geography and what? Territory. Nigeria is specialized in what? In exporting what kind of goods? Crude oil, isn't it? Nigeria is specialized in exporting crude oil. But we know we can export other things. But because we know that crude oil is the best one, we have it in large quantity. What do? We do what? We specialize in that area that we have comparative advantage over other countries. Let Ghana be concentrated in exporting gold. You understand? But now we know that the one we have comparative advantage over every other person is what? Crude oil. So that is specialization. So it could be by process, by sex, by product, or by what? Geography. Is that clear? Good. Yes, please stop writing and focus on the board. We have time to write. Today we're going to be looking at retelling. We are going to be looking at what? Retelling. We said that trading is classified or divided into two types or two categories. What are the two categories of trading? Home trading and what? Foreign trading. We say that we are having home trade whenever you're trading in the same currency, isn't it? In one country. Is that clear? When you are conducting trading within a country, you are doing what? Home trade. But when one country is trading with another country, we are having what? Foreign trade. And we say that this home trade is divided into two: retailing and what? Wholesaling. Retailing and what? Wholesaling. We say that wholesaling is when you buy from the producer and sell to the retailers in bulk. In what? Bulk. But when you buy in small quantity from the wholesaler and sell to the final consumer, you are doing what? Retailing. You are doing what? Retailing. So retail trade is a business activities. Is the business activities of selling goods and services to the final what? Consumer. So anybody that is selling to the final consumer is doing what we call retail trade. Is that clear? What are the functions of retailers? What do they do in the society that makes them to be good? Number one is that they sell in small quantity to the what? Final consumer. The final consumer does not have the much money to go to the wholesaler and buy in bulk. Is that clear? So he now buys in small quantity from the what? Retailer. Is that clear? He provides after sale services. Do you know what we call after sale services? Like somebody sells a phone to you, you go to a phone shop, you buy a phone, but you don't know how to remove the pack and put the battery and start the phone very well. Do that initial configuration. So when you go to buy, you see that mostly they will collect the phone from you, is it not? They will unpack it, they will place it for you, they will place the battery, they will on it, they will tell you put your SIM card, they will even put your SIM card for the first time for you and make you see the way it works and teach you how to do the initial operation, is it not? That is what we call what? That is what we call what? After sales service. Is that clear? So retailers, they do after sales services. He grants credit facility to the consumers. What is that? When you go to buy, sometimes you don't have money, is it not? They will give you and say later because he knows you. The retailer knows where you're staying, he knows your house. But the wholesaler in the market, does he know your house? No. So it's easier for the retailer to grant you a credit facility. He stocks variety of goods. He stocks what? Variety of goods. When you go to a retailer shop, you're selling Maggi, you're selling tomato, you're selling plenty things. But you see that wholesalers, they normally sell one. You see big wholesalers selling only Indomie. Is it not? You see cartons of Indomie. But when you go to a retail shop, what kind of things do you see there? You see variety of goods. He sells at convenient location on what? Hours. All those people that you're seeing selling around this location, they are mostly what? Retailers. Have you seen any wholesaler selling things around? It's easier to open a retail shop because with small money you can open, isn't it? And you can see them sell goods till up to 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock in the night, isn't it? But wholesalers, they don't do like that. Trends in retailing. What are the kind of things that you can do when you are doing retailing? Number one is branding. Branding simply means attaching a trade name to your product. You understand? You see, if you go to the east, there's what we call Ubuawa special. They use it for machine, motorcycles. You understand? You can put your name. You can bring something and put your name on it. Do you know? That is known as what?
So we have R in series.
Branding.
R is equal to what? R1.
You understand?
R2 plus what?
You can tell the people producing or the wholesalers as they are coming. You can have a sticker. A sticker that has your name. You understand? Tclassified.com. Anybody that uses it will know that it's from Tclassified.com. That's it. Brand simply means attaching a trade name to a what? Product. Number two, self-services. If you go to retail shop which big retail shop do you know? Supermarket.
What do you mean? Which one is in parallel? This
you go to Amigo. Where? Good. If you enter there without somebody taking you around, I hope you know you can move around and go and pick things that you want. Is that not true? That's how you do in the supermarket, isn't it? So self-service is buying without a shop attendant. You don't need a shop attendant to be following you. You understand? You can go and pick all your things. Is that clear? When you go to places like ShopRite, is that not how you do? You go and pick your stuff. It's when you want to pay. That's when you go and meet them for payments, isn't it? So in retail shops like ShopRite and all those places, you can have what we call self-service. You're serving yourself, isn't it? Then finally you have what we call vending machine. Vending what? Vending machine, which is simply where you have automatically dispensing of prepackaged what? Items. When you have what? Automatic dispensing of what? Prepackaged what? Items, such as drinks. Is that clear? If you go to in America, there's a place that once you put your coin, you can. There's one advert in the telly. You put coin, Coke will just come out, isn't it? So that is called electronic vending machine. You understand? In Nigeria here, we don't know, we don't have it much.
Okay.
Exactly. So those are the things that you can see in retailing. And that's where we'll stop for today. Today we are going to be looking at
the way it's set up is
limited liability company. Today we are going to be looking at limited liability company. Limited liability company. We say there are three forms of business ownership. In commerce or in economics, we have how many forms of business ownership? Three forms. We have sole proprietorship, which is another name for what? One-man business, which is a form of business ownership by one person. Then we'll have what we call partnership business, which is when two or more people, between 2 to 20 people, come together to own a business partnership. Then we have the third form of business ownership known as what? Limited liability what? Company. Limited liability company. Now what is limited liability company? Limited liability company is a legal entity created by the association of a number of people when some people come together in accordance with the law for the purpose of a what? Defined objective. They must have a defined objective. Maybe they want to come together and go into banking. They want to open banks, just like Zenith Bank. So it must be a number of people coming together. Is that clear? Example of limited liability company is Guinness PLC, Nestle Food. Do you know the company called Nestle Food? You know Nestle now? They produce biscuits and some other things. They produce beverages. You know the company called Guinness? They produce small stout and Guinness, you understand? So any company that you see their name ending in PLC or limited, such company is known as a what? Limited liability company. Such company is known as a what? Limited liability company. Now, what are the features or characteristics of limited liability company? How do you know a limited liability company when you see one? Number one, you know them by their ownership. How many people own this limited liability company? We have shareholders between 2 to what? 50. If you want to start a business liability company, you must have how many people? Between 2 to 50 people. Is that clear? Number two, what is the objective? You find out that all the three forms of ownership, their objective are the same thing, which is to do what? To make profit. Whenever you're setting up a business, you're setting up a business in order to do what? Make profit. Now, what are the sources of capital? How do they get the capital to start the business? How? They do it by what? Contribution from their shareholders. JAMB will bring some certain amount of money. This person will bring. They come together and form what? Zenith Bank. To form Dangote. Dangote is the major shareholder, is it not? If they needed 1 million naira to set up Dangote, he will bring like 900,000. Maybe Atiku Abubakar will bring 50,000. This other person will bring. Me and you will go buy shares from Dangote. You understand? All of us come together and we are called what? All of us coming together are called what? Shareholders. All the owners of the limited liability company, all of them are known as what? Shareholders. Is that clear? Because you have a share. Shareholders. You are holding a share of the company. Is that clear? Now we look at liability. I told us that the liability of a limited liability company is what? Is what? Is the only person that has a limited liability. So proprietorship has what kind of liability? Unlimited. Partnership has what kind of liability? Unlimited. Is that clear? It's only a limited liability company that has a what? Limited liability. Legal entity. It is a separate legal entity from the word owner. The business is separate from the word owner. If you sue the business to court, the owner will be free. He might be going, having picnics, being just or being over the cattle ranch, enjoying himself while you're suing his company. His lawyer will go and trash out the case with you. Is that clear? Because he himself is very separate from the word business. Unlike a sole proprietorship or a partnership, once you're suing the person has to be there to take care of the problem. Is that clear? Now, management. The management of a business limited liability company is always done by the board of directors. Always done by the what? Board of directors. Unlike a sole proprietorship, who does the management of a sole proprietorship business? The owner by himself. Who does the management of partnership business? The partners by themselves. You understand? This one is board of what? Directors. The board of what? Directors. Is that clear? Is that very clear?